Welcome to another Demarcation Media Mega Construx review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Halo Infinite Gungoose Gambit, or I guess it's technically UNSC Gungoose Gambit. This set is really weird because it was supposed to be kind of like released alongside I guess it was kind of supposed to be released alongside like Arbiter's Quest and all that, and it kind of has been, but there was a lot of news about the Falcon Sweep and the Arbiter's Quest, going up for pre-order different places. And this was just kind of, there was radio silence about this set. And then it just randomly started popping up some places. And yeah, so I don't know. The attention and news about this set has been fairly low overall. But it's here now. It's starting to show up in stores. It's starting to show up online. So fingers crossed that the new helmets will be coming soon as well. But yeah, so this is not part of the Halo Universe lineup, even though it's releasing alongside sets from Universe. This is actually Halo Infinite. And it's following in the footsteps of the Recon Getaway and the Ghost, Banished Ghost Hijack. So it's like this box size. It's got 4 figures, 1 vehicle, and it's like $15. Really, really great format for a set. So let's see if this one measures up to the previous two, particularly the Recon Getaway, since this is another Mongoose. Box art looks pretty good. I'm not really sure what's going on in the background. It's like we've got some depth of field blur and then the clouds aren't blurred. That looks really weird to me. Throws me off. Maybe that's just because I take photos and I watch out for that kind of thing. But overall, it looks pretty good. Fairly standard for the Halo Infinite line. We have our Marine on his Gungoose against the Brute and the Jackal, which it's not looking great for him at all. Also, he's one-hand shooting the commando rifle, which is kind of impressive. We got our alternate build since Halo Infinite. All of the Halo Infinite stuff had alternate builds. On the side, we get to see that again. We get to see our figures here. This bothers me. It's hard to see here, but his arm is clipping through his upper arm is clipping through his lower arm. Mega's been doing this a lot lately, where they'll pose the figures in such a way that the parts actually have to clip through to be in that pose. And I don't like that. That is like false advertising, because if I see a pose on the box, I want to be able to recreate that pose with the figure. And if the arm is being clipped through, or like the head is clipping through armor or something, and I can't do it, that to me feels like false advertising. So that needs to be fixed. I think Mega needs to just pay more attention to their renders and make sure that they're, actually getting them correct. But yeah, that's I don't like the renders much already, but if they're actually making parts clip through to get certain poses, that's just not okay. We get to see our weapons lineup here. Suspension. Our Marine is once again shooting the commando like a pistol. Got our Sniper, Brute Warrior, and our Brute Captain. So yeah, fairly standard box. You could almost accidentally confuse it with the Recon Getaway if you weren't super familiar with them. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get this thing open. Oh yeah, and there's like a tab here. So if you were to buy this at a store, it could potentially be hanging. Let's go ahead and we'll open it at the top. This is your standard box type. It's not one of those nice hinging ones. I think trying to make a hinged box for a set this small would be kind of overkill. But you can grab this tab to kind of pull it open. Alrighty. So there's our instructions. What? Oh, it's a big sheet. Was the Recon Getaway one like that? I don't remember now. So we got that, and we have 3 bags of parts. This set looks pretty alright in terms of the packaging, but I feel like with some of the larger sets lately, Mega has been over packaging a little bit. So we'll get something like this where it's like a bag, and then within the bag there will be like 3 more bags. For the figures it makes sense, but for other things you don't necessarily need to do that. Also, I noticed something. Mega has started almost fully assembling the figures now. So like the shoulder armor is already on, the thigh armor is already on. That's interesting. Usually, like in the past, they wouldn't even have the thigh armor on. They would just clip the legs onto the thigh piece, and you'd have to take the legs off to put the armor on. You still kind of do need to take the legs off because pushing the waist on without doing that is a bit difficult. Looks like both of these guys are Craig's. And there's our sniper. Oh, he comes with the blades or whatever that is on his wrists already on. And there's our Marine. So let me go ahead and get these put together and we will take a closer look. There we go. All the figures are built. Our Gungoose is built. So let's go ahead and take a look at the figures, starting with that Marine. So this Marine is kind of interesting for a couple reasons. First of all, he has an ODST helmet. He's like kind of kitted out like an ODST. He's got the helmet that the Marine sniper used with the extra like sniping apparatus on the top. And I thought at first that this was kind of the same helmet as the Marine sniper, but this is one of the variants of the Marine sniper helmet right here. This is the brown print variant. There's a gray print variant out there. So I don't know which one you guys have, but either one is going to have the same problem here. If you wanted to use one on the other, it's not going to work because the base color is different. So this new one is green, which is a bummer because the visor print on this new one, I don't know if this is the same for like all of the ones that are going to be out there. I'm going to have to go and look up some other pictures. But the visor is lame. Like, I'm not even going to cut the corners here. This is lame. Look at the visor on this helmet. It's like so nice. It's really crisp, sharp. It's got a gloss to it. This visor is like nothing. It's barely any different color than the actual helmet. So you just get a tiny bit of green like shine to it. Yeah, that's lame. I don't know. Again, I really, really hope this is not how all of them are, because if so, that is just the lamest thing ever. Like, really, that's just sad. So that's a bit of a disappointment. I was hoping for a better visor print there. And then the rest of the figure is made in the same kind of silver, like the undersuit is made in the same kind of silver as the Garrison Pack Marine. So we'll take a look at him in a second alongside him. But we got short sleeves for our Marine, and he's got the upper arms that can accept shoulder armor if you want to upgrade him. He comes with a commando rifle. I think, you know what, let me go ahead and bring in the Garrison Pack figures right now. Okay, the DMRs, not DMR, sorry, commando, are basically, well, they're not basically the same color. They're definitely different colors. This one's more green. But here's our Garrison Pack Spartan and our Garrison Pack Marine, who is, he currently has an extra like heavy belt thing that I gave to him. So yeah, they match, which is nice. They have the green armor, but the armor here has print. The armor for this guy does not, which is a bit of a bummer. I do like that we have kind of this covert ops look going, but this guy so far feels a little lacking to me. Like, I love the kind of basic Marine design here. I love the fact that he's got the ODST helmet. It looks great, but the lack of print on the straps and the lack of a decent print for the visor is, I don't know, it feels weak to me. And I really wanted to like this guy. Like, this is, I like the whole look of him. I just think that Mega cheaped out a little here. Overall, not bad. Just that visor is lame. I'm definitely gonna have to look up and see if that's the standard or not. And just in case you haven't seen it before, the Commando does accept a muzzle flare, and it looks pretty darn awesome with a muzzle flare on it. Next up, we have a Brute Miner. This guy is kind of in the same style as the Razorback Brute, and a little bit in the same way as like the Garrison Pack Brute has in terms of like the armor. So he's got the new shoulders, and then the rest of the standard like Infinite Brute design. He has the mask with the slit helmet. He's all in blue. He doesn't have extra print like on the chest plate or on the like whatever you call this thing, his like loincloth thing. He comes with those feet with the like block in the middle of the toes, but luckily this is the fixed version Mega updated their mold, so you can now put him on studs. Underneath, we have Craig. Good old Craig. I kind of was hoping to see the captain have one of the older Halo Wars brute heads and this guy have Craig, but that is not the case. He also comes armed with a Mangler. Always nice to get more of those. The drum on this one's a little loose. And then his forearms are the new, like, furry kind. Or I don't know if they're necessarily new, but Mega's utilizing them more. And then he has the newer 3-fingered hands that the brutes have been getting. Very nice. He doesn't exactly look banished. Like, when you first look at him, he's not, like, immediately banished. But that's... Red is the banished color, so seeing him in blue throws it a little bit. He looks more Covenant. But this is a nice blue. We've seen it on some Spartans, and I'm glad to see it on a brute. Our brute captain is looking a heck of a lot more banished. He's all red. He has the banished, like, chieftain chest plate, so he's really bulky. He's got the old style, like, Halo Wars banished lower legs, new shoulder armor. He's got the newer hands. The captain helmet is not new, but it's been a while since we've seen it used. Underneath is Craig. Now, this helmet was made for the older, slightly wider brute heads, and even then, it would kind of move back and forth a bit. So you can kind of, like, turn it on the Craig head, like that. And then there's just not a ton of posing you can do with the head on this big of a shoulder, or this big of a chest plate, because the shoulders are so tall. That's really the only downside to this figure. Maybe a wash would have been nice, because the detail on the chest plate gets a little bit just lost in all the red. He comes armed with a shock rifle with the clip on the top, so if you have a Victor around, you can clip it onto him, or you can just have your guy hold it like kind of like a suitcase. Pretty cool figure. It's been a while since we've seen a brute captain in a set, so it's nice to get. I don't entirely know how many of these you'd necessarily want to army build, though you could easily just, like, remove the helmet and then add a different helmet to make him be just a normal brute. Or, you know, I guess you could trim the ears off maybe, and that would make him look more like a normal soldier if you wanted to, like, army build him and you didn't want an army of captains. But just having one, I'd say that's pretty cool. You can put him in front of a legion of brute miners. Actually, I want to see him next to the garrison pack brute. Let me get him off his flight stand. Interesting. Garrison pack brute definitely has more, like, color variation. But what happens if we, like, switch the helmets? So, like, you could do that. Now he just looks like a big, bulky, normal brute. And then if we give this guy... Now he looks... I don't know. That's weird. But that's kind of cool. And I knock him over again. Good grief. Please stand up this time. So far, this set pairs pretty well with the garrison pack. Oh, here's the blue guy from earlier next to the red guy from the garrison pack. They definitely have a little bit different, like, armor set, but you could make a squad out of them for sure. And last but not least, we have the figure that's probably elicited the most excitement, the Jackal Sniper. Now, for the most part, he's just a standard Halo Infinite Jackal. He's got the same chest, head, legs, shoulders, all of it. The new parts are these forearm, like, guard pieces, which you could honestly turn these around, swap the sides, and turn them into those wrist blades. See, if you've got this part pointing forward. And then, of course, the sniper mask, which jackals are ugly to begin with, but putting them with this three-eyed mask makes them even more ugly. That just pops on and off by a peg. We saw this back when the Warthog rally first came out, and everyone knew right away we were going to see sniper jackals at some point. And here he is. He comes with a carbine. I don't really know if that's a proper weapon. Like, that's not really a sniper weapon exactly. It works, but it's not perfect. I think Mega could have introduced maybe a new weapon mold here. I mean, yes, there are kind of, you know, having this many new pieces in one set for such a small set is maybe asking for a new gun is a bit much, but I do think that would have benefited the figure. But yeah, overall, this guy looks really good. And you can upgrade basically any Jackal from the Infinite line with this mask. So you could take it and get your Jackal freebooter or whatever the label was from Halo Heroes and put it on there. That could work. Actually, you know what? I'm curious now. What happens if we make a Sniper Craig? That doesn't quite work. That looks weird. Yeah. I mean, now I guess Craig can have a headlight. Headlight Craig. But no, that doesn't really work. But yeah, you could put it on any of the newer Jackals. It wouldn't match the red guys, but you can definitely put it on there. Only thing I would have wished for with the mask is maybe some print for the eye sections. Other than that, I think Mega did a pretty good job here. Moving on to the Gungoose itself, we basically have a carbon copy of the Recon Getaway Mongoose, but with the extra machine guns mounted on the front and in a different color scheme. So that's not bad. First of all, the fact that it's basically the same as the Recon Getaway Mongoose, that's not bad. That's actually a good thing because that means they're going to match. Go ahead and get this guy sitting here. There's not really any place to store his weapon, like beyond him holding it. Also, I really wish Mega would change their handles a little bit here. It's always difficult to get them holding with both hands without it looking awkward because the handles are just so straight. Okay, I guess that's decent. So there he is. He's all mounted up, ready to go. The guns are not new pieces. I thought they were at first when I first saw pictures of the set, but it's actually the same gun piece that we see on the Wasp. Then we have some studs with holes. I'm really disappointed that these don't accept muzzle flares. The peg end is just ever so slightly too big, and I find that quite disappointing. Yeah, you can't really fit the weapon anywhere unless you want to just kind of... Nah, that doesn't even work. Anyway, yeah, so there he is sitting on it. Yeah, overall, it's the same like Mongoose, but in the color scheme that makes it match the Razorback, and it looks better alongside the like Covert Ops figures. And they have red for the bars here, and I actually really like that because it makes it look more like suspension instead of just a peg, and you can kind of steer it all over the place. It's pretty cool that there's suspension on such a small vehicle. I don't have, well, okay, I do have another Gungoose to compare it to, but I don't have that Gungoose built right now, so I might do that in a separate video. But like, just looking at it as is, I really like this. It has much more of a utility look to it, and if you just wanted a Mongoose in this color scheme, all you got to do is just take the guns off. Of course, I say that and the entire assembly comes off, but you can just remove the guns like so, and then that's what you'd get instead. I don't think that looks too bad. It is a little bare on either side where the guns go, but if you did want to do that, that's definitely an option there. Well, there you have it. That is the UNSC Gungoose Gambit. Overall, Mega has done a really good job here, once again, with making this little army builder set. This would be, I guess, number 3 in the lineup, because Recon Getaway, then the Banished Ghost Hijack, and now this one. So I'm going to do a video where I'm going to compare this set as a whole to the Recon Getaway as a whole. But that's going to be an entirely separate video. But like looking at this set as is by itself, it's really good because Mega has done a couple things here. They've given us a good way to get some more brute miners, something other than silver. We got the Jackal with all of his extra stuff. We have a Gungoose that matches the Razorback. And we have a Captain that looks really good, uses some good pieces. My main complaint is how just bad that Marine's visor is. That is just absolutely atrocious. I don't know. I'm definitely going to look and see if that's a quality control thing, like if Mega meant to make it that thin or if they meant to make it look better. But yeah, that's just bad. I don't know why it came out like that. For army building, you definitely could. You could get plenty of those Marines. I mean, you'd have a lot of ODST helmets, but that's fine. You could have a whole squad of Marines with ODST gear. You could have a bunch of the Jackal snipers. You could have a ton of these brutes. This is the only figure that you really don't want to army build a ton, but that's not even that huge of an issue. So overall, I'd say Mega did a really good job. Retail for this is like 15, same as the other ones, which is really good for the amount of figures that you get. So hopefully when it comes to stores, it's as common as the Recon Getaway was, because Recon Getaway was everywhere, even to the point where it was going on sale. We need that for this set. Like, I'm really hoping that it happens that way. It looks really good. Like, I'm really more impressed with the Gungoose than I was expecting to be. I'm still kind of confused what the Gambit is in this set. Like, is the Gambit that he's betting on the Gungoose to get him out of this situation? Because our Marine is kind of outnumbered here. Like, the captain by himself would be pretty tough to get rid of, but we got the miner as well, and then a Jackal sniper up who knows where. I don't know. This guy, he's got a hard fight out for him. I don't know if he's going to survive. Maybe that's the Gambit. But yeah, overall, really good. I just am not happy with the visor on that Marine in the slightest. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.